Welcome to the podcast for anyone who has been known as that teacher.
That teacher who is always dreaming up new ideas. That teacher who has an Instagram account. That teacher who goes on TikTok to share the latest teaching trends. That teacher who isn't afraid to try new things.
We're Megan and Alyssa, and we were both known as that teacher before we started our ed tech company, Pop PD.
If you're an educator who's been looking for something more opportunities to lead, grow, and inspire others, we are here to show you the newest pathways to leadership for modern educators.
We'll interview teachers who have taken their leadership beyond the four walls of their classroom to become thought leaders in the online space.
You'll hear about the ups and downs of their experience sharing their educator journey online, and we hope you'll be inspired and re-energized by their unique stories. Welcome to another episode in the mini-series where Megan and I are talking about course creation. We've put together this series to kick off Pop Studio, the newest arm of business for Megan and I, where we are helping creators, consultants, and coaches design online programs that are unlike anything anyone has seen before. We're building a set of custom creator tools that keep the learner in mind, and we're helping you get started with our group coaching program and one-to-one services to help you map your ideas, visualize your shareable method, and get your program launched. Go to the link in the show notes to check out our offer and get pre-sale pricing now through January. In this episode, we're covering our most unpopular opinions when it comes to course creation, and we are not holding back. We've worked with hundreds of course creators on their program design and marketing, and these are our hottest takes on what works and what doesn't in the online space. I know some of our listeners from the last episode are really here to hear us debate about French fries versus potato chips, which we will do at the end of this episode. We did tease that in the last episode, but what we're really here to kick off is talking about our unpopular opinions about creating and marketing your online course. And we've got some unpopular opinions for you today. So Megan, why don't you kick us off? What's your first unpopular opinion?
Great. Well, this is a nice extension of the last episode too, where we talked about kind of the two core sides. That I'm the kind of creation and like learning experience aspect, and Alyssa talks about the marketing stuff. So we're going to kind of bounce back and forth. And I'm glad that we're starting with me, obviously, learning experience being key and chief amongst them. But the one that I want to start with is one that I think is actually kind of trending and pretty popular right now. And that's the idea that courses don't have to be live to be effective. I think that live courses and cohorts are having a big moment right now in the kind of the world of online learning. Whether or not you're familiar, there's some kind of new companies and really just like movements that like live cohorts are the way to go with online learning. It's kind of a backlash from the fact that like online courses became so popular during COVID. A lot of these asynchronous or kind of, not live options, these big bulky courses where people are sitting and watching videos, people just weren't doing them. And I think a lot of people ascribed that to the fact that, well, they're not live. People aren't motivated to like show up and kind of just engage in the spot and then kind of be done or whatnot. But I think that was kind of a mislabeling. There's a lot of things that could be wrong with a course other than just being live or not live. So there is this kind of sense that like it has to be live, it has to be in the moment, even has to be in person, right, for it to be effective. I do think a well-crafted experience can run online in an asynchronous way or something that, you do on your own time and your own pace. So I really think that it is hard to do. You have to be really intentional about what you're offering people. You have to get them engaged. You have to offer enough value and things to really encourage them to implement what you're teaching. But I don't think something necessarily has to be live or you have to have that kind of like either FOMO or, real prompt or, encouragement for someone to do it in the moment or it's gone. That's the one I want to start with. Okay. What are your thoughts?
All right. I think especially for teachers, we talk about this a lot. For teachers, I think live is nice because it gives accountability and it helps you get feedback and it helps you really be in touch with your people, which helps with marketing. But like teachers, it's very hard to show up live. We are on all different schedules, from like the time of day that we're at school to the time of year that we're at school to the time zone we're in. And we just don't have time to show up to lives quite as much. But I think you can incorporate like some of the things that live courses do well is really the accountability. And also I do think the start and stop of a cohort is kind of nice for some people who need kind of a deadline. Not everybody needs that, but you can still use those elements that work in a course that is not live, like not totally delivered live. You can still have it run as like a 6-week program, but everything is pre-recorded. People do it at their own pace, but then you're there to support, and maybe you have like a couple of Q&A calls or something to support. The entire program is not live, but the accountability and the timing and the pacing is still there. What do you
Yes,
think?
I love what you pulled out. Really, the nuance there of, am I instructing live? Am I delivering information live? Maybe not, but I could offer spaces to connect and have people within the same week or the same month or whatever kind of span of time be working on something in community. So it's really about the many different levers you can pull on your experience and thinking about how people are going to go through it. There isn't one way to do it. In fact, there's a number of different ways that you can structure a learning experience to make it engaging for people.
Yeah. And to my first unpopular opinion kind of goes with that, which is I don't think that you have to do all of your launches live.
Mm.
And this is I also agree with you on like the FOMO doors are closing to a certain degree. I think a hybrid of live launching and evergreen funnels is really nice for marketing your online course. A live launch has a lot of great things about it, and a lot of it is just what we talked about. It's like the accountability, the urgency to like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it now. There's the excitement and the hype that comes with a live launch, and also it's really nice because your marketing kind of dials up during a live launch and then can dial down after. You get to like go into hermit mode for a little bit, so it gives a nice bump in your marketing and probably a bump in sales. But I think you can still run your marketing on evergreen during the times when you're not live launching. I don't know of anything more irritating than when I'm like, "Oh, I want to dive into this class right now," and it's like not available. For some people that works because it is that FOMO and they have a waiting list, and that totally works, and they only do live launches. But I think increasingly people just they want what they want when they want it. I want my money and I want it now. Um, and so having that hybrid is nice. And that doesn't mean it has to be like open all the time. It can also just be that you have an evergreen funnel that's running where you have maybe your launch event is something that people can access anytime. And then after they attend your launch event, they get a series of emails that helps to market your course. So it still sort of feels a little bit like a launch, but is a bit different.
Yeah, I love that. I think that you kind of said it jokingly, like we want what we want when we want it. But if you think about people who have a problem that they need solved, like they're going to go out and solve that problem. So if you're kind of gatekeeping that, and they would pay you for it, right? They would go out of their way to get that from you. Giving them an option and an opportunity to do that is great. Otherwise, they might go somewhere else. There's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of stuff, and they might get a worse solution. So don't
Yes.
deny them your amazing experience just because you don't have those two pieces in place.
Yeah, and you can still have a sense of urgency for them if there's because what happens is a lot of people stay on the fence. Like think about how many times you've put something in your Amazon cart and then you don't actually check out and then it just sits in your Amazon cart and there's really no unless it's Amazon Prime Day, there's no sense of like, oh, I need to go check out and get that thing. And so a lot of people end up kind of looking at your stuff and saying, "Well, I'll do that later. I'll do that later. I'll do that later." So a live launch can put a bit of urgency on, but the way that you do that is that your concentrated marketing during your live launch ends, and maybe you have a special event or something happening inside your course the next week, and that's the thing that they'll miss out on if they don't buy between the time you start launch and the time you end. It doesn't have to be that like the doors are closed for another 5 months, although I will say that is how I used to run it too. But then I saw that there were so many people in between who wanted to just get started right away. And I was like, I can't I can't leave them out. So a combination is nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's
All
go
right.
back over to you. What's your next unpopular opinion?
This might be my most unpopular opinion. You are gonna push back on this one too, I think. I hate bonuses in a program. Hate them.
Bonuses.
Hate them. My question for that is, if it's so great, if it so needs to be in your program, why isn't it embedded and structured within the actual program?
So
Why did
you
you
mean
just like stick it on the end in this folder with like 20 other things, all this crap that I have to sort through after I've gone through and gotten what I need to get? Why am I spending time going into the bonuses? If it's good enough, put it with everything else where it belongs, you know?
yeah, guilty, guilty,
Yeah.
totally guilty.
The
Bonus
the
master
reason behind
classes.
this, and I think, it's not a learning experience thing. And this is really a great example of, I think, a tension between learning experience versus marketing.
Yeah,
Bonuses are a marketing tool. Would you
yeah.
agree with that?
Yes.
By and large, bonuses are what you say, and you'll also get. That's my infomercial voice.
Yeah.
You'll also get like the 20 extra knives with like. Did I need 20 extra? Does anyone need 20 extra
Yeah,
knives? Like,
right.
no. The bonuses thing, I can think of very, very few situations where I've looked at really anything in a bonuses folder, and they're always in a big folder. Like,
Yes.
they're always in a big folder.
Yes.
I'm looking at you here.
I know I
I'm
have a
looking at
big
you,
folder.
person who's
Big
listening.
folder.
Not you, Alyssa, just the
But
you, the
I
general you, the people you.
you know I have a big folder.
Yeah, I know you do have a big folder. It's that much more stuff for people to sort through. It's that much more noise. It's that much more digital clutter, if you will, and mental clutter, really. Again, there's so much content out there. There's so much available. Part of what people are paying you for is not just your content, but the curation of your content and the structure and the organization and the ability for them to pop in and get exactly what they need when they need it. And so when you start kind of tacking on all these bonuses, a lot of time that distracts from the core of the experience that you're really trying to provide. And a lot of times too, then you might say, well, this is really valuable. It needs to be here. Okay, well, why don't you embed it into the rest of, like, should it go somewhere else? Maybe it goes at the end, but put it as part of the actual experience. Don't put it in
Yeah.
kind of a separate side piece. Actually incorporate it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That's my approach.
it's hard from the course creator perspective. Like a lot of my bonus master classes happened after the fact. So I recorded everything and then I had a guest speaker come in or I recorded an extra thing because somebody asked for it. So that's why it kind of ends up in that giant folder. But you're saying at least go file it in like the module that it goes with. Would you have like just like a resources folder or would you have a bonus within the module folder? Are we just like nothing at all?
So my compromise to that is because I think what you're saying is actually good. If you're being responsive and saying, well, this is something, a question or a frequent, I would say frequently asked question. I love that FAQ, or a comment that someone, and it made me think of this really great element that I can incorporate. You're absolutely right that it should go with the rest of the stuff that it relates to. So if you're using, a traditional platform where it's kind of module based, put that video or put that resource with the rest of that stuff. I really like the idea of incorporating like a frequently asked questions or a troubleshooting component to each of your sections.
Yeah.
That way you have some flexibility and actually you have like a space already built in for you to kind of adapt as people go through your program, as maybe those bonuses come in, or you meet the best guest speaker ever who you didn't even know before you created your program.
Yeah.
Having a space to kind of incorporate those can be really useful, but it's intentional. It's not just this like tacked on bonus at the end with everything mishmashed. It is kind of a direct response to something that has come up in in that section. And I would actually also frame it with that kind of that question or like whatever people are asking about, because if one person has asked you about it, it's likely that other people have that question too, and you're then kind of responding to a need as opposed to just like piling on more stuff that might kind of overwhelm someone. So that's kind of the first part of it, is that you can be really reactive and include extra things that are nice in that way. The other side of it is that you shouldn't really be creating a program and then just adding. That's really common. I'm all about the revamp, the refresh, the re-examination, and kind of moving things around, taking things out. Yes, you can do that. You can take things out. It's going to be okay. that is really part of the process of having an online program, is having this kind of ongoing tweak to it. That doesn't mean you do it every 5 minutes, but taking the time to kind of really curate and select and minimize those bonus pieces and have it intentionally incorporated is very important for the value of your customers.
To put structure around it. I feel like that's like, oh, that's your answer for everything, huh? Put structure
Structure and
around
organization. It really is the answer to everything.
it.
Should
I
I
like
step
that.
off my soapbox now? My bonus is soapbox. Did I do enough, you think?
I think that, yeah, no, I think that's really great advice, and it's an easy win for people who have an existing course with a giant bonus folder. Like, just move this stuff around and give it some structure. Like, it's an easy win. And then go tell your people that you've done that. Like, go and bring it over to your marketing and be like, I have this new section of FAQs in my course, and everybody go check it out. So you can, it's a quick win there. Um, but yeah, I just got thinking as you talk about structure. Megan is so type A and I am so type B. I can't remember if we've already told the story on the podcast, but the first time we met in real life, I kept like leaving wrappers and stuff like around the Airbnb we were staying in, and I had just met Megan and she was following me around like picking up my wrappers. And I was like, this is such an indicator of who we are as people.
Yeah. And I wasn't mad at you. It wasn't even it's honestly it's a forced habit at this point.
I'm not
Everything in
even I'm really not a messy person, but I think when I'm at an Airbnb, I'm just like, "Ah, I don't have to clean this. I don't have to deal with this. I might as well just like live in chaos for a minute."
the thing is, compared to me, everyone's a messy person.
Oh my God, that's true. Yeah,
So
that's
you
true.
kinda can't win is
Yeah.
is what is
It
what
was
I'm
like
saying.
one wrapper. It wasn't like I was like dumping stuff everywhere, but I was like,
Yeah,
what's with this chick
yeah.
picking up
Oh,
after
no,
me?
I mean, and I'm straightening your laptop on the
Yeah.
desk. Like, it's not just the, like, Alyssa doesn't throw out her trash. It's Megan has some problems with things needing to be in
Well,
order.
like, we get to the Airbnb and Megan's stuff is already in her closet, organized, hung up. Like, she's got a little basket for her toiletries, and I'm, like, throwing my stuff, living out of my suitcase, throwing it around my room. I tried to keep up with you for, like, 1 or 2 times where I was like, "Okay, let me, like, do the Megan. Let me, like, put my stuff away." And the last time we were in San Diego, I was like, "Just don't look at my room, okay? Because it's a mess."
But the times that you did follow the Megan method, how good did it feel?
It did feel good. Yeah, it
You
did.
told me in the moment it felt good. Maybe you were lying to me. Maybe you were just
No,
making
no, you're
me
right, it did. Some
it
structure
does feel
structure
good.
is always good.
Yeah. But
Alright.
again, personal structure or not, to
Yes.
me, it's really about you're curating this for other people. You want it to be you want it to be in tip-top shape. You
Well,
want it
yeah,
to be in
because
order.
a
And
bonus folder is like a junk drawer in your house. It's like
yes,
it serves no
love that.
purpose and it's so all over the place and you don't really know what goes there and
Yeah.
yeah.
I think too, just a final note is that this is I've always felt this way, but there, again, when we think about kind of trends in online education, it is really becoming part of this. I don't want to say backlash, but kind of people are kind of coming back around on these massive programs with all this stuff, extra resources. Not to keep saying the same thing, but people are paying you for less, not more. They're paying you to cut the noise, and so you might think that you're doing them a favor, but it actually is oftentimes more helpful for you to give them less higher quality things.
All right, let's organize those junk drawers.
Yep.
All right, my next unpopular opinion is that these courses that we're selling online, especially really professional development courses for other teachers to learn strategies and ideas for their classroom, I think it should be paid for by schools. I don't think
Oh,
teachers should have to come out of pocket for it. I think we can all agree on that. Like, I don't
yeah.
actually think that's really an unpopular opinion. It doesn't mean that I don't think your course is valuable or that I think teachers won't pay out of pocket because they already do. I just think it really stinks that they have to and that
Mhm.
and I think there are a lot of layers to the problem. Like, I don't actually even want to sit here and throw the blame at schools because I think just the way that things have rolled out, we ended up with a bunch of teachers who are bringing their ideas and expertise online, but they're doing it in silos. So they're doing it with their own Instagram page, their own, TikTok channel, their own sales page, their own. They put their course on Kajabi or Thinkific or Teachable, and they're trying to sell directly to teachers in these silos, and it's confusing. It's confusing as a teacher to decide which of these do I want to buy and who do I want to learn from. it's we've talked to some school leaders, like it's equally as confusing for them. They want their teachers to be happy, most of them, and they might have some discretionary budget to spend on these courses, but they have to rely on their teachers to find the silo and then bring the silo to them and say, "Hey, I found this course and I thought it was great, and can we buy it for all of our teachers?" And so there's a lot of layers there of like, first we can't find what we need. Then it's like, how does that discretionary budget get rolled out? Who's rolling that out? And then if you're a teacher and you take a course and you think it's amazing and you want to share it with your colleagues or your excuse me, your admin, like you're not a salesperson. So how do you get comfortable with doing that? And it's happened in pockets for us on Pop PD where we're already seeing, as we've brought multiple courses together in one marketplace, we're already seeing schools who are saying like, oh yeah, I want 5 licenses of that one and I want 4 licenses of this one. It's been in kind of small pockets, but we're seeing it happen. So I think that there is a pipeline there for a teacher to be able to engage with their own school leader to buy or reimburse them for these courses. It's just, it needs to be easier and lighter. We need to facilitate it in a better way for the teachers who are buying our courses. Give them a letter that they can share with their admin, give them a pamphlet, make a quick PDF in Canva that they can pass to their admin and say, I'm looking to spend my discretionary budget, if I have one, on this particular course so that they don't have to come out of pocket.
Absolutely. And I think that, everyone, as you said, it's not really an unpopular opinion, but it's an unpopular practice. Like this is you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. It shouldn't be happening, And that's where it's like it's our job. That's what we've taken it as our job. And I take that very seriously because teachers have way too much on their plate and they have way too much to offer each other
Yeah.
to be kind of mired in this.
Yeah, to be clear, like I'm not saying your course isn't valuable. I actually think you should be paid. Like we think that the way this is part of why we started Pop PD, but we think that the way professional development budgets are being spent right now is just it, it's not offering the teacher receiving the training. It's not offering them any choice or flexibility in what they're learning, and it's not responding to their needs in that way. And similarly, it's not getting money in your pockets, the pockets of people who should be able to share their ideas and expertise and be paid for it. And if we could reallocate these funds to you all, now we've just pumped money into the system that doesn't pay teachers enough to begin with. And we're then benefiting both sides. We're benefiting the teacher that needs support and we're benefiting the teacher who is giving the support. And hello, we have money. There is money. It just let's reallocate it. Now I'm on my soapbox, but hopefully we'll do that. At least be able to do that a little bit better with Pop PD.
Yeah. We're taking turns on the soapbox. We get really amped on these
I
things. And
know.
I
I
think
just
it's
get so
good.
passionate about this stuff.
Yeah.
All right, your last unpopular opinion.
All right. My last one is kind of has to do with I guess, everything on its head of what you're offering and you're learning, but it's the idea that people don't want to know what you're doing. They want to know how you're doing it. I think yes, are people buying worksheets offline? Are they looking for those? I called them, kind of the quick fixes of, hey, I got to teach a class in 5 minutes. I got to teach a class tomorrow. I've been there where you're like, I just got to figure out, can you just give me that photocopy, that thing, and I'll just do it. I'm not saying that isn't out there and that's happening, and that in some ways, when you are having a hard time, that's important. Lord knows I did that, especially as a new teacher. But I think that what's really key is learning and paying attention to the how. And if you're someone who is trying to offer support to teachers in the form of, coaching or online courses, online offers, and learning experiences, what you really want to think about is how do I do this beyond just the resources or the curriculum that I'm giving out? Where can I pay attention to the nuance of what I am thinking about as I prepare something and the way I talk about something as I am delivering it? Those are probably the two keys that I think are really most valuable when it comes to thinking about that how. A lot of times we want to just kind of tell people what we're doing in the classroom, right? Like we want to maybe show them that worksheet or even just kind of talk about the project or, we put together, or, there's lots of exciting things you all are doing in the classroom, like really, really cool and exciting things. And those are great to share, but that it's really this like detailed nuance. And so a good example of that, I think, is just a demo or a modeling video where you can see it in action. The value that a demo or modeling video has over you sitting in front of slides and kind of talking about what you do is huge. Being able to actually see you delivering that intro to your students, to introducing a concept, to even just like holding up and showing something,
Yeah.
whether it's a resource you use with
Yes.
students and you know kind of show what that looks like. You provide your coach's commentary, as I like to call it, your play
Mhm.
by play of, okay, first look at this piece, here's why I put this there,
Yeah.
then I go into this section and notice how I've laid it out in this certain way. You can do this with a lot of things, physical things in your classrooms, or even digital resources and how you've crafted them in a certain way. When you have a certain level of expertise that you're looking to share, it's all those little details that is really what makes you special and is really kind of what comprises your expertise. So, you know, my unpopular opinion is instead of just kind of talking about what you do, think more about how you can demo or model those things and notice how you even have to do less work and show people less in order to get the same impact.
Yeah, I always think about like creative teachers or like course creators who have creative content do this really easily. So if you teach an art class or you're teaching people how to play guitar or you're, teaching a cooking class, you're demoing. Like that's obviously what you're doing. Yeah, I'm going to teach you how to make my grandmother's spaghetti and meatballs. I'm just going to like put a slide up and show you her meatballs. I'm going to like be in the kitchen cooking the meatballs and I'm going to turn my camera on. And that is a little harder to stretch our minds to in this case, but like we have a creative craft too, and we should be demoing it. I personally tried to do this because we were putting together some content for Pop PD, and I was trying to push myself to demo. And it's not easy. Now, I'm not in the classroom. And for some of you, you can't record in your classrooms for various reasons. We would encourage you to record without your kids, even just record yourself. But uh, I'm at home and I've got my kid. So one of the demo videos I did was me talking to my kid because it just felt less awkward than talking to no one. And I was able to respond to the way he was reacting. So that was nice. The other way I did it is I just talked as if my video was for a kid, as if a teacher would be playing that video for a kid. And that made it a little bit easier for me to do without an actual class in front of me and without it feeling super awkward. And yeah, I just did it with vertical video on my phone too. I just like pulled something up on my phone and demoed how I would talk to a kid about it and hit screen record. And it was very easy, simple, quick to do. And I think, yeah, like you said, more powerful.
Yeah, and I like that you provided some very specific strategies, especially because obviously the easiest way for everyone to do it would be to record themselves, and for various reasons, that's often not possible. I think more often than not, it's not possible to do that. But yeah, thinking about creative ways that you can still demo and model without being live in front of your classroom.
Yeah.
One element too would just be to record yourself doing something in your classroom with or without students, and not even showing them on camera. But also, I think maybe even embracing the awkward and then using that to translate into a resource. What I mean by that is, Alyssa, you said, you'd feel weird kind of like pretending and doing it yourself. What I would maybe challenge someone to do is record themselves doing something with kind of that out loud narrative of what you're thinking while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So, an example could be like grading a paper, or like something that even is hard to kind of like model. But if you kind of do like a think aloud while you're working and you record that, you don't even necessarily have to use that to show people, but you can then go back and take notes on the things that you said and offer those up as a model. Or you could even kind of re-record it and make it kind of sound or look nicer if you felt awkward while you were doing it. But I think of it how, like, I was a high school English teacher, and you would sit and kind of do like read alouds, and I would kind of do like the analysis that I was thinking in my head. I would
Hmm.
kind of read a sentence and be like, "Ooh, that word really stood out to me. I'm going to circle that word." And then, you know what that word makes me think of, and then kind of writing it in the margins, almost like mock annotation.
Hmm.
So, being able to kind of just pull those ideas or those thoughts that are in your head that you might not even have written down anywhere, and then actually turn them into learning content, that is huge. And I would say
Hmm.
that is more valuable than any explanation you could ever give. So, just kind of being creative with showing that how. I think I think that's really the next frontier and is very central to what we're doing, at Pop PD. But I think that's what people are looking for with practical training. And I think that's going to be pretty standard going forward. So I'd
Yeah.
love for our listeners to kind of start thinking about how they can do that themselves now.
And speaking of strategies that are becoming more popular, I think my last unpopular opinion is that, you shouldn't market the same way you've always marketed, and that you should change your marketing and your messaging constantly. And so I just wanted to highlight a few things that I'm seeing that are changing in the um, launching your online course space. And I think one of the most important is that you're showing, speaking of demoing, you're showing what's inside your course. You're not keeping it all hidden behind a curtain. You're actually showing sample lessons. If possible, like give people a little bit of a free trial or a behind the scenes, or if it has a schedule or like a sample week in the life of taking this program. Put that all on your sales page, and then be willing to shift and change if people need something or they have a certain objection or they're asking a frequently asked question. Be able to respond to that. I don't know if that's unpopular. I think that might be popular.
Well, kind of hidden gems,
Hidden
maybe.
gems. Yeah.
But I think it's people are nosy. Like I think the unpopular, maybe the way to frame this for both is people don't always want the polished you. They
Yeah.
don't want the presentation you.
Yeah.
They want the behind the scenes. They want to know what's going on. Like
Yeah.
they want to see your calendar. I love a good calendar.
Yeah.
I love a good organization system. I mean, none of this is going to surprise our listeners who by
No.
now think that I'm a total, organizational psycho, which I am. But like being able to see other people's systems and processes, that behind the scenes, people love that. And so using that not only to enhance the learning experience and allowing people to kind of envision how they might do it or how they might interpret it, they're probably not going to just copy it, right? They're going to make it their own on the learning side. They're going to implement it in their own way. But then on the marketing side, you're drawing them in because they're curious, right? They want to
Yeah.
be nosy. They want to
Mhm.
know like what it actually feels like. And so you're appealing to them by doing that in marketing as well. It's really kind of the same concept, just tilted towards those both of those sides we talk about so often.
Thank you for adding structure to that.
Yeah. So is my goal.
Well, we have one last thing to debate here before we end this episode, which is French fries versus
So
chips.
the reason you really came, if we're being honest.
I can't even believe this is a debate. Like, you automatically lose if you had French fries and chips on the table. Who is picking chips?
So we should actually probably preface because not everybody will know that my choice is chips. Alyssa's choice is French fries.
Yeah,
I realize this is even more than bonuses. This is probably my most
very
unpopular opinion. Although
contrarian.
I feel like
Yes.
there are other chip people out there. Um, I think what's important to emphasize about this, and notice how I talk about this with the same level of
Yeah, I
seriousness
know.
that I
You're
do
like very
everything
serious
else.
about this.
I will talk about like food and my, entertainment, my television shows with the same level of intensity that I do learning experiences because that's what you get with me. So my thing is, it's not like I don't like French fries, people. Like, let's just preface that. Like,
Okay.
I'm not, not into French fries. However, I'm a chip girl. That
Well,
is where my heart lies. And as I've gotten older, I've embraced that. It's almost like I thought I was supposed to like fries more. And so I denied this chip loving part of myself and was like, oh, yeah, like if I had to pick one for the rest of my life, obviously it's fries. Obviously, you can't live without fries. But that crunch, that salty crunch that you get from a potato chip, that's satisfying. The crunch of a potato chip is more satisfying than the bite itself.
no, I am
It
not on
just
board with
is.
that. No. Maybe I will give you like this one deli near me has the kind of like a homemade potato chips. I'll maybe give you that. I really like those. But you're telling me that if a waitress comes up to you and you ordered a hamburger and the waitress says to you, you want chips or fries on the side of your hamburger, you're saying chips?
Alyssa, in my youth, I might have gone with the popular opinion and just chosen the
Wow.
fries because that's what everyone does. But I would actually go for the chips.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Stamping it
You
right
have
here, right
really
now.
revealed yourself here. I don't know.
Chips.
If there's anybody that agrees with Megan, please send me a message, Alyssa A. McDonald. I need to know.
please.
Megan's like, please,
Please.
anyone.
Maybe it's a good thing I don't have social media, so I don't have all these people coming after
Yeah.
me for my unpopular chip opinions, but
You'll never know.
I know that you're out there, and if you are a chip lover as well, I see you. And, as a plug, I also agree with the homemade chip thing, and I can't even remember the name of the restaurant, but there is a restaurant in New York, and I realized in Chicago that my sister has taken me to, where they have an appetizer that is homemade chips topped with, like, a homemade, like, blue cheese
Ooh. Okay.
topping.
Like a
Maybe the
nacho, if you
really
will.
just the intersection of 2 of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah. Okay. I'd definitely go for that.
So, it'd probably be helpful if I could give you the name of that restaurant, but,
We could,
just
yeah.
wanted you to envision how delightful that would be and get you on to Team Chip. So,
All right. Team chip, team
come on
forever,
in.
life.
The water is salty and crunchy and delicious.
Oh my gosh. And with that, we will see you in the next episode. That is the end of our mini series for coaches, consultants, and creators who have an online course they want to revamp or are thinking about putting together an online course. So, if you are looking for help sorting out your ideas into a unique map of your knowledge, you want some help uncovering your methodology so that you have the right words and visuals to share with your audience that will be different from what they've seen or heard before, we are here. We're here to help you create your learning experience in a more simple and faster way because we believe you can do so much better than putting together a string of 20-minute talking head videos. So we have built a custom set of creator tools for you, and we're also here to support you to put these tools into use with our group coaching program and our one-to-one spots we've opened up to support you from the initial map of your ideas all the way through the launch of your program using Pop Studio's custom creator tools to deliver a learning experience your audience will rave about. So we can work together on your program design as part of the group coaching program, or you can snag one of those limited time one-on-one support spots where we'll have a private Slack channel and one-to-one support calls with our team of program design strategists to help you think through everything from idea to launch and beyond. Both packages come with 1 year all access to our Pop Studio Creator platform, where you'll be able to give your learners a very unique and different experience from anything they've ever seen with an online course before, where learners can interact with your online course by taking digital notes alongside your resources, and they can also use our project management system to track their tasks that you've assigned to them. We're just at the beginning of building out this creator studio, so we're excited to get you on board and share your ideas and help us shape the ultimate learning experience platform. Head to that link in the show notes to learn more about our limited time offer for group coaching and one-to-one services alongside the use of Pop Studio.